can't have these open or my chips are going to go bad.
It's like the audio vault with Bobby.
We never closed the audio vault.
Oh, shit. They're going to get stale.
Okay, well, let me do that, and then we'll start the show.
Okay. Okay, we're good now.
All right, ready?
I'm Sean Bear Flannery, and I've never listened to None Taken.
The following program contains material that is just too cute. Viewer discretion is advised.
So I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts. It's about college football, but it's not about college football, and it's not even college football season right now. So they were definitely not talking about college football. And if I name it, Apple Podcasts will link you to that podcast in the middle of my podcast, which is frankly rude. So if you want to know about this podcast, I will tell you about it. I'm not going to try to keep a secret, but I'm not going to sabotage our own show by giving you a link to that while you're listening to ours. Why would Apple Podcasts think that I want to do that? What a stupid feature.
That's lame. Yeah.
Anyways.
So ask in the DMs if you want to know.
Yeah, please do. Because you'll like them. You'll think they're funny. And, so they do a lot of what we do. Like oftentimes they'll have something that's like a question that they found on Twitter that they bring on the show. But this one was one of their hosts brought it up, which is me doing a version of them finding something on Twitter, bringing it up on the show. Okay. So I'm not a hack. Okay, Alan?
Yeah, sure. 100% not a hack.
What do you think the sun smells like?
Oh.
Do you think the sun has a smell? Do you think that the sun, and I'll give you time to think about it by padding for you. Do you think that the sun is so hot that it burns everything that smells? Or do you think that process has a scent to it?
I feel like it has to have a scent.
It's got it, right?
And so it's mostly like hydrogen burning, right? So it's like helium, sure.
And it's making those things, right?
I think it's maybe
there's got to be some sulfur to it, right? Maybe not.
There's got to be some sulfur. Yeah. So it's gonna smell kind of acrid, maybe a little bit like if you left popcorn in the microwave for too long.
Ooh.
Like that's
okay. So it on its own, it's not like. So people hate that smell because, God, I'm trying to do my job and I can smell it from the break room, right?
Yeah,
or like if you're in the living room and someone, but like that smell on its own, while not the best, it's not putrid, right? It's like,
no.
But so like I think you're onto something because here, I'm going to describe it and I wonder if this is people who have been to space and they can talk about there being any sort of ascent to space say that it's almost like sweet, maybe like something's cooking. Like not necessarily like meat's cooking, but not like meat's cooking. Somebody said the sweet smells of welding fumes, which like, okay. Why don't you just tell me you're from Ohio? Like,
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But you can get what that means too, though, right? Like,
yes, of course. Yeah.
So I don't think that's not what you're saying, right? I think that kind of could be like that popcorn smell.
Kind of, yeah. A little bit.
Burnt popcorn, though, right?
Burnt popcorn, yes. Too long in the microwave, yeah.
And if that's what you're smelling, like in space around where we've had astronauts, that's got to just be a smell from the sun, right? Like that's not like space's smell, right? That's got to be the sun's smell. That's the solar system smell. The sun's just really big and makes smell, right? It is the proverbial office microwave.
Yes,
in the other room.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's like, is there sun in this solar system? Oh, God, I didn't have my eyes open. I could smell it from here. Yeah.
Please, nobody cook fish over there. Yeah.
One of my favorite jokes in the whole series of The Office was when she's cooking popcorn while they're doing like the fancy book club. And they're like, hey, can't you do that in the other break room? She's like, I don't want to use the other break room microwave. And they're like, why? It smells like popcorn.
That's a great joke.
That's a good time, yeah. I probably butchered it too. Natasha's going to be like, that's not the punchline. Anyways, this whole conversation got me thinking about a separate conversation, still space-related. And that's why I'm here. So that's my setup for me to ask you this.
Do tell.
Well, I started to wonder if anybody took a shit on the moon.
I mean, probably, right?
So like my dumb ass, the first thing I thought was like, did they ever like squat down and poop and like dig a hole? But obviously not with the suits on, right? Like they're up there wearing wetsuits. Like you can't be wearing a wetsuit. You don't poop in a wetsuit. What kind of person would poop in a wetsuit?
Well, I know one.
Yeah. Allegedly. I've never told that story, Alan. Okay. Oh, damn it. Were you talking about me? Hold on.
Now
So I looked into it. So there's like 4 people, including I think Buzz, who've walked on the moon and be like, yeah, I took a shit in my suit. Like, what was I supposed to do? You know, that's what they built things in there for us to do that. You got to might as well use them. You know. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you got to remember, these are all like Navy test pilots, right? Like these are all, you know, Navy test pilots from Ohio too, right? Like these guys are all from Ohio. That's why they say like birthplace of flight in Ohio, because all those for some reason there's like a bunch of astronauts from Ohio. But did you know what the very first thing Neil Armstrong did when he got to the moon?
No, I don't know.
Right? No, you think you do, right? I mean, I was assuming you were going to say, yeah, he said he put his foot on it.
It's great.
And he said,
except for mankind.
Yeah. There was something that happened before that. That was the very first act of a human on the moon.
Did he fart?
This is not a joke. Okay. So they're in like the airlock or whatever you call it. They both got their suits on. They're ready to go out there. He's going to go first. And Buzz is behind him. And Buzz is like, not friend of the show, Buzz Burbank. Buzz hands him a bag and tells him, you know, hey, it's been 4 days on this spaceship. So the very first thing Neil Armstrong does is open up at the hatch that he's going to step out of, and he tosses a bag of their shit from the last 4 days onto the surface of the moon. And then, like, a breath later, it's like, well, time to do my famous thing that mankind's never done before. And A Small Step for Man films it like, but literally right before that, he's throwing a bag of shit like a dog.
Bag of
like
shit.
You pick up dog shit and like set it on and pick it up on your way back. You know,
that's crazy.
If you're on a dog walk and you see someone drop their bag of shit in front of your house, they picked up the dog poop. They're going to pick it up on the way back. They're not a bad person, okay, neighbors? Anyway, do you know why we know that?
Why do we know that?
Because the next thing he did after he said one small step for man, giant leap for mankind, was turn around and document the ship so that nobody would say, like, you didn't go to the moon. He's like, well, what did you say about this picture? Well, guess what's in that fucking picture?
It's a
this bag of shit right there.
That's incredible.
It says United States right there. And the lander.
Wow.
Yeah.
U.S. poop.
That's poop. U.S. poop. Unbelievable, right? Only
that's unbelievable.
Like I said, at the end of the day, these are just Navy test pilots from Ohio. Like,
yeah, they're just
a little bit more. I probably got that wrong. They're like their Army, their Air Force. Okay, anyways, we are a horse-related podcast, and we've got some great horse content to open the show. You ready for this? Bobby Ferguson. This is stellar.
I'm ready.
This is 2.5 minutes long. I ain't playing that. I'll play about 15 seconds. You ready for this?
Ready.
This is a very important video. Please take it seriously. When we are riding a horse, are we ratatouilleing it? Don't laugh. This is very serious. All right, in the hit Pixar film Ratatouille, he controls a little Italian boy with his hair, right, in his head. We've all seen Ratatouille. Making the boy, who's not a chef, into a chef. This is a very important video. Please take it seriously. When we are riding a horse, are we ratatouilleing it?
Y'all let me in this damn house.
Go ahead and dwell on that. We're going to do a podcast. Welcome to the Friday Headlines Roundup edition of Nubsteakums. I'm your host, Cred, coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee. Alan's coming to you from Wharton, Washington. We're here to bring you the week's headlines. Lock in, prepare yourself for an independent alternative to the partisan voices you're used to. And now, as is Friday's tradition.
So, another Friday is upon us. What'll you be doing, Smithers? Something gay, no doubt. What? You know, lighthearted, fancy-free. Mothers, lock up your daughters. Smithers is on the town.
Exactly, sir.
Exactly, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, days and gays, thank you for joining us for a free episode of Numstakens number 587. Checks notes. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making the show possible. And by that, I mean the people in the Patreon. Head on over to Nuntaken. If you are not, if you heard that and you're like, I'm not in the Patreon, losers. Hey, first of all, hey. Second of all, why would I say that about me? Third of all, why are you making me feel this way? Go over to nuntaken.horse. It's a website. And from nuntaken.horse, that's where I'm at right here on the screen. Well, you can't see this because you're not in the Patreon. So if you go to nuntaken.horse, there's a picture of a zebra. If you scroll down slightly, there's a little thing that says join the Patreon. If you click on that button, you can join the Patreon for $3 a fucking month. You can join at a higher amount if you like. There's different tiers they can meet you on if you want to donate to the show a little bit more. It literally is the reason that we don't have ads and we're still doing this. Other than that, I yell it down way too much. You know, like he'd be like, hey, we wouldn't be friends anymore. We got that sweet, sweet Patreon cash coming in. So join the Patreon, be a part of the show, keep the show free, ad free. It's the most important part is it's ad free. And then you get more than that. We give you something. We're asking you to keep the show going, but we're givers. I'm a generous lover. And if you join the Patreon, I will never say that again on the podcast. Message me, never say generous lover again, and what your join level is. And join the Patreon. It's we do a we're halfway through the show right now. We just did a whole show. We just did a whole show. It was an hour and a half. We talked about Graham Plattner. We're not going to talk about that here. We talked about Dear Mr. Japan. Yes, I think we actually are going to talk about what did he call it, Alan? The
Islamic Republic of Japan.
The Islamic Republic of Japan. Yikes! Oh boy! Wow!
Yikes! Indeed.
Yeah. And then just never corrected it. Why? Yeah, never admit you're wrong. Anyways, you know what? Never admit you're wrong. Correct your mistakes. Join the Patreon. Nonetaken.horse. There's other things they can do there, Alan. You want to tell them about that while I do some scrolling?
Absolutely. I mean, the most important thing, obviously, is the Patreon. And if you're on the fence, look, $3 gets you in. You get the whole back catalog. We got some bangers in there. The last couple of weeks, hidden tracks have been fucking great. Like,
and every week we're doing
check it out.
2 shows there. So you're getting, what, 8 a month for $3? I mean,
yeah. So check it out. And then if you like it, stay, you know?
Yeah. And if you don't,
that'd be
leave.
great.
That's fine.
Yeah,
dork.
that's fine. Also, we got a merch store, as Dustin is showcasing currently. We got lots of cool merch over there. We got koozies. We got We Say Cut in This House mugs. We got a trucker hat. We got a cum/golf towel. That's not how you say that. So yeah, all kinds of cool stuff over there. The most important thing, though, join the Patreon. But everything you need None Taken is there at nonetaken.horse. Also, don't forget, support the people that support us. There's some links down there at the bottom. Slickestdigital.com for all your SEO and marketing needs. Slickestdigital.com and JeffHancockphotography.com for all your photographic needs, whether they be cock related or not.
All right.
Hell yeah. What is up, everybody?
Oh, yeah,
welcome to the show. The weekend is here. Have a can of beer.
I forgot to restart my internet. How's my lag? Is it fine?
It's not bad. Yeah, it's okay. We're okay. Right. Yeah.
I won't play any more videos.
Okay. We got a lot of headlines to talk at you, so I guess we should just begin.
Yeah, what do you got? We got it's been a big day and not holding up our end of a signature, right? I feel like that was actually Iran's argument. They said stand by your signature, I think is what they said, something like that.
Yeah, it was the fourth thing on the MOU, and you said that. President Trump said the U.S.-Iran ceasefire is over while speaking with reporters at the NATO summit in Turkey. Oil prices rose over 5% after Trump's remarks. There's been a whole slew of new attacks all over Iran today, taking out various infrastructure. And so there was there's the Islamic Republic of Japan comment.
Islamic Republic of Japan.
Yeah, Donald Trump sitting with Zelensky. We played this on the hidden track, but we couldn't not talk about it.
Yeah.
Like the fucking president in charge of the party that was like, hey, Joe Biden seems to be old and dementia-ridden, and sat there and said the Islamic Republic of Japan. And here's something that I will be very generous about. What he was doing was talking about Patriot missiles being allowed to be manufactured in Ukraine, something that we have let Japan do. So he crossed those wires while he was talking. Something that is kind of forgivable for any human. But I've been alive for the last 6 years. And every time that Joe Biden said the president of France's name wrong, they were like, oh, we got chocolate chip. And we got a whole page of Biden stuff here. You can talk while I pull that up, okay?
Falling off of bikes, these things.
Well, I mean, falling upstairs. There was things where... Do not get me wrong. Those things were embarrassing, and I fucking hated the fact that he was our president for those reasons. Like, I wished that we had a better candidate instead of like, well, I don't know, let's just go hardcore establishment. And remember, if you're new here, I'm an independent. I end up siding with Democrats when our choice is that or fucking MAGA. So, like, I do resent that Biden was our choice. That said, he was he was fine. It's the fucking president. We're not supposed to live in this world where the president has so much fucking power. But you seem to want that, and you give it to idiots like Donald Trump. And then when he says things like
Islamic Republic of Japan,
you just act like it's not a big deal now when we have a dementia-ridden president.
Right. And we have talked on the show many times about how this ceasefire wasn't really a ceasefire. It's been on again, off again over the last however many weeks. And now Trump is just right up there saying, like, look, the ceasefire isn't a thing. He said essentially that the United States
That's what he said.
Attacks would get much worse if Iranian forces continue. You have the Iranians coming out and saying, look, you violated the MOU, not us, and we're not going to respond to vulgarity with vulgarity.
Iran was targeting ships that were trying to transit
Of course they were. But they were saying
no, you don't get to say you did and we didn't. They did.
No, I 100% agree. 100% agree. What they're saying, though, is that you agreed in the MOU that the ships would go through.
Through
the ships would go
lane.
through our routes.
Yeah.
And that's not happening.
Okay, well, you know what? That doesn't mean or else you're going to shoot those ships down.
No, it doesn't. You know what? Here's the fun part is we already released the whole...
Hey, Iran, if you really want to enforce that, you could go enforce that. Our Navy's going to be there, too. There's a thing called freedom of the sea. You don't get to actually tell people they do that.
Yeah.
Now, if
100%.
you can't enforce that, you don't resort to shooting down ships. You enforce that by having a naval blockade, and I guess that results in shooting down ships. I'm saying those words out loud. I heard myself. Myself.
Here's the fun part is as far as I can tell, which is something I've been saying for ever since this MOU happened, is that the U.S. released a whole shit ton of their money that was frozen assets and gave it back to them.
They got that. That's already got, right? They spent it
that's already
on
done.
Drugs. Yeah. You can't get that back.
Whatever. They probably spent it on Hamas and missiles. But I'm saying they gave them all that money based on their assumption
that hey, the ceasefire's over. We're tough guys. We're back to shooting. Dude, okay, cool. Great point. Like, Alan, great point. So it's like, yeah, I respect you saying that the freedom of navigation is worth enforcing and using the U.S. military in force. I think it's also worth pointing out that in the reality that you've created, you just gave them hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And that part doesn't get rescinded just because you're shooting again.
No. And ostensibly the whole point of this war was to take out their missile capabilities, their nuclear capabilities, their proxy capabilities, and all you've done is allowed them to fund all of that stuff again.
Yep.
That's all that's happened here. A war of choice that nobody needed this war except Donald Trump because he got
Israel.
Well, except for Benjamin Netanyahu. Yes, of course. Yeah. There's that. All right. Did you? I know you put a bunch of bullet points. Is there more you want to cover here, or are we?
I don't know. I think we're good. It's frustrating, and you know what? When people hear this on Friday, it's gonna be old news. That's why you joined the Patreon. You already heard this. All right.
Absolutely.
Federal judge rejected a DOJ subpoena that sought names and contact information for every 2020 Fulton County, Georgia election worker. Election worker? Whoa.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So they were trying.
How did they justify that? Oh, they don't have.
They were saying that. They don't have to, but so they were saying that they needed to get all these people's information so that they could figure out what went wrong in Fulton County, which has been adjudicated to death, and there is no evidence that anything went wrong in Fulton County. The judge here, District Judge William Ray, which I believe was actually a Trump appointee, which is interesting. He said, given the low need for the subpoenaed information and the highly burdensome nature of the disclosure of the same, the subpoena is unreasonable and must be quashed. Calling the scope of the request staggering. So absolutely the fuck not, essentially.
Times like this, I'm reminded that quashed is a real word that's been taken out of its normal setting and used in other ways. Like, oh, quash that shit. Okay. Quashed is a legal term.
Yeah, it's
quash
a legal
and pickleball.
Term. Also, that's not a legal term, but it is a thing.
Legal term. Yeah. Okay. Your turn. I don't have anything else to say on that.
President Trump indicated
to say about that.
President Trump indicated he plans to cut off all trade with Spain, criticizing the NATO ally for not committing to the alliance's 5% defense spending target. I don't know if you guys saw this video. Ruto was on the stage with him when he was saying this, and Spain has increased their spending from like 1.5% to like 2% or something of GDP, and they had a carve out for them in the last meeting. And so Ruto's like, look, like they've increased a lot. You got a lot done here. And Spain and Trump was like, that's not enough. So just a quote from Trump. He said, Spain is a terrible partner in NATO. They don't participate. Whoa. They don't pay. I don't want anything to do with Spain. Cut off all trade with Spain, please, including visits. Don't even talk to them.
Visits?
They're hopeless. Yeah. They're hopeless, bad people. There are a couple of others, but in particular Spain. Direct quote from our president.
Right.
Yeah.
But this isn't about the 5% spending. This is about other statements during the war with Iran.
I think so, but it was in relation to the NATO meeting.
Say because they're at the yeah. I don't know. Anytime Trump does things like this, I feel like he just makes those people look cooler. Like Spain's looking pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Perlman had a great rant about this today. If you go check out Perlman, the friend of the show, Alex Perlman.
Alex Perlman. What did his rant talk about?
He was talking about exactly what happened and how essentially Trump was just being a reactionary and responding.
You know what's funny is he's being a reactionary. He's not even being smart about it. What is the one thing that GOP and MAGA are supposed to be complaining about right now? What is their number one message point right now?
Affordability.
Okay. What is their number one attack on the Democrat Party right now?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's always going.
Alan, answer the question.
It's
that they're communists. And
communist, yes.
Yeah. And, well, I actually just remembered that Spain was fascist. So I'll just shut up. That's why he can't be like, these people were led by a fascist dictator until the 1980s, because oops, they could talk about the Spanish Air Force, NASA, Spanish, space program. Remember? Do you not remember the story about the Spanish space program?
Remind me, vaguely, yes.
There's a guy for Spain's first astronaut. You're going to love this. You're going to love this reminder, Alan. Luis Guerrero Blanco. So he was the prime minister, and he was assassinated on the 20th of December, 1973 by four members of the ETA. They put so much dynamite under the street that he was driving over that his car flew into the air over a multi-story building and then landed in the courtyard in the back,
making him the first.
Spain's first. The assassination joined the tacit approval of many Spaniards who jokingly called it Spain's first astronaut. Yes, yeah.
I do remember this story now. Yeah. That's very funny. All right, you want to hit number 4?
It is funny. That's probably my favorite car bombing joke.
Do you have a second favorite car bombing joke?
Not that I could think of.
Okay.
When my friend, when Mike Smurdell went to Ireland and ordered an Irish car bomb in person, and they were like, no, that would be like us ordering a 9/11. And then he's like, okay, I have another question. Can I have a pint of Guinness? And can I have, was it Jaeger? What goes in
a shot
that?
of Irish whiskey.
Jaeger. Irish whiskey. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Jaeger. Oh my God. What's wrong with you?
Ew, gross.
Jaeger bombs. That's what I was thinking of. Number 4?
Yes.
Supreme Court agreed to hear challenges to bans on AR-15s and similar assault-style rifles. I don't like the word assault-style. In Connecticut and the Chicago area, taking up whether such laws violate the Second Amendment. So given this court and the decisions they've been making, it sounds like they are about to overturn semi-automatic rifle bans.
That seems likely, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a quote from the article. At the center of the battle is whether AR-15s and similar weapons are entitled to the Second Amendment's protections.
I'm sorry, just a second. You have to stop doing this while I'm recording the show. It is too distracting to me. Thank you.
In defending their restrictions, the states argue that they don't qualify as arms that people have the constitutional right to bear. So essentially, their argument is that they can ban these because the Second Amendment does not apply to these. They don't count as arms. I think that's very likely not to pass the smell test, and especially with this SCOTUS, that's going to get overturned. All of those are going to get overturned.
So they're saying that the statement you made, you think under this court is going to be rejected. The existing situation is going to be overturned, is what you're saying?
Yeah. The bans that are in place will be overturned, and they'll do it on a Second Amendment grounds, I think. Yes.
I think so too. And here's the deal. If this happens on its own, I could see people being upset. If this happens along with what we've seen, where presidents what was that on my mind? Where parents are, if this happens where parents are being held accountable for the actions of their children that have like mental health issues, where you've talked about the guns with them and you're not locking those guns up, you're not making it so that they're inaccessible, you're not just selling them when you recognize that situation, like that's fine, that's your right to keep that in the house. And when they go and shoot up their school, you are going to have your life destroyed. And that's the way you balance this out, because most people can't afford to, I mean, like, my AK is back there gathering dust. Like, and it ain't never going to use in some illicit purpose. I might be used in some fantasy world where we have a dystopic future and I've got to go live off the whatever 7.62 I can find laying around.
We have the zombie attack. Yeah.
I feel like I don't know my fucking ammo anymore. Anyways, I like seeing parents being held accountable for the actions of their kids if you leave guns out where kids can get them.
No, I agree with that.
And
I agree with that.
If that is the direction, and we actually see more of those, not just tokens like to appease people. Like I think every time there's one of these horrific shootings and the parents are held accountable for it, that should actually curb that, because assault weapon bans haven't curbed it. It only goes up, right? We only have more shootings. I'm not trying to be smug about this, but I mean the logic isn't working. I'm not saying make guns more available is going to make it less likely. That's obviously not logical either. But if you make real consequences for the people who are responsible for that kid not having access to that, I think you actually might see an off, because what we're doing right now isn't working.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that so well-regulated militia, that part of the Second Amendment doesn't really get talked about enough. And I won't do a great job here, but if you want to know about this,
there is as good of an argument at whether that means regulated in one way versus regulated in another way.
Right.
And if you're going to sit here and make one argument, I'm not going to make the other one. So like,
I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I would just, listeners, if you want to get a deep dive into this,
and then you can pick which
Shadow,
one you like the best. But there is sorry, you're saying it's called Long Shadow is the
Long
podcast?
Shadow. I think season 2 did a deep dive into this, and the guy who's the host of Long Shadow was he worked for Howard Dean back in the day, so you can understand if you want to know bias before you walk in. No, that's there. But really great show. I recommend it highly. All the episodes, all the seasons are great, but that one, if you want to know more about that, I think is great.
Okay. Is Long Shadow about the Supreme Court specifically or legal in general? What was it?
No. Long Shadow starts talking about like Ruby Ridge and the rise of the right, the first season, and then the second one's about the Second Amendment, and the third one it goes on. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Number 5. OpenAI reportedly proposed giving a 5% stake in the company to the U.S. government as a way to share the financial upside of AI with the public.
Is this because the government's proposing things like 40 and 50%?
Probably.
Yeah.
So currently at OpenAI's current valuation, this would be about a $45 billion stake in this company, which tells you like 5% is 45 billion, which tells you the massive size that this company is valued at. They're
saying stake, not revenue, right? Because they're not
no stake.
Revenue. Yeah.
No, they are, but they're not in the black by any means. So there haven't actually been, as far as we know, there haven't actually been conversations about this between the company and the Trump administration directly. This is just something that they're sort of throwing out there. I think that there's been a lot of conversation about how, especially if AI is the catastrophic thing that a lot of these people think it will be, how do we, sort of all the job losses, and how do we mitigate that and make people okay? And so this is one way that I think these AI companies are saying, well, we can just do this. 5% is a minuscule amount, but it's still $45 billion. So I don't know. We'll see where this goes.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of the U.S. government being in the business of any business.
And how would this be distributed to the public? There is no clear way they're doing that.
Okay, well, yeah, I almost feel like that $45 billion isn't enough money for it to even matter. Unfortunately, we live in that world where you've got trillions and trillions and trillions. 30-something, 40. Were you in the 40s yet? I mean, that number is blowing up, right? So it doesn't matter. Like, how many years would it take for $45 billion to have an impact on that? Nothing. So yeah. But I am more concerned about the other way around, where the government has 5%. The government owns 5% of the main AI competitor.
Well, they already own like 10% of what, like Intel, and like they've already made.
Yeah, but I
deals
don't like that for the same reason.
I don't like that either.
And during TARP, I didn't like that we were in the auto industry, like that we owned.
That ended up being okay, but it wasn't.
I understand, but that was also structured in the manner where it would end, and it would, and it was that way, right?
Yeah.
But like this is not with that intention, right? This is we should at least have 5%. We want more, but if you're willing to give us 5, we'll start with this. Like, but at the same time. At the same time, it does feel like a public utility. We've had that conversation on the show too, right? So,
it does.
You know, the part of me that's been persuaded by it wouldn't like. But I don't think that the government should be running the business of it.
Well, yeah, okay. So they wouldn't have like a controlling share by any means, but also with this administration, you can only imagine the grift that could happen off of this, right? Like, and that's just another part of this. Another part.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Then there's Supreme Court cases where, of course, the president can tell the AI company knows 5% of what to do. Yeah, I don't like that at all, because now you're shaping reality. If you're looking for answers on the AI machine and you only get the ones approved by the government, I don't like that.
No, I don't like that at all. All right, number 6.
Okay. Former U.S. Olympian David Hearn was indicted for felony destruction of property for reaching down and grabbing a part of the reflecting pond at the end. And so it was like, how is this destruction of property when it's already separated and you reach down and you grabbed it?
Well, so Gene Pirro is alleging that he damaged about 2 square feet of the sealant from the bottom of the pool, which would be more than they're going to have experts apparently at this trial say that it's more than $1,000 worth of damage, which moves it from a misdemeanor to a felony. So there's some quotes here from Pirro. She says a Parks employee actually told Hearn to stop his behavior and stop what he was doing. You're typing and it's moving stuff around. There it is. Hearn reacted by shouting at the Parks employee, saying that she cared too much about the reflecting pool, and why did she even care since it wasn't her pool?
Do they have a recording of that? I'd love to hear that.
No,
that
of course
kind of a dumb thing to say. It's not like it's your pool.
It's not
my
your
tax
pool.
dollars. It's my pool as much as it's your pool. That's a good line.
So do you know what sport Hearn competed in the Olympics?
Yeah.
He was a canoeist, as the term of art is. Hearn previously told NBC News that he was arrested and detained for 5 hours after he touched a piece of the attached coating to the pool.
Yeah,
he said he had stopped at the landmark site during a bike ride to satisfy my curiosity as a citizen of what was happening.
Oh, so
with
him
all
touching
the algae
it, they
and
saw it, and they said he was pulling on it.
Yeah. And he said he did not remove, tear, or destroy any of the coating, and said that nothing changed between when he arrived and when he was detained. Like nothing happened.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I
think
I'm guessing they would have to be able to prove that he did it.
Yeah, but they were using the entire power of the DOJ and the federal government to fucking go after a dude who put his hand in the reflecting pool. Like,
this is, I use this, how many times have I said this? It's like Molly's game. If the government wants to go after you and ruin your life, they will put the entire power of the Department of Justice against you. And if you get to the point where you're going to win and they're going to look bad, they will just say never mind and drop it, and it doesn't matter. They already ruined your life in the process. And
for most people, they don't have the resources to defend themselves. They're going to be bankrupt and all that shit. He's got some really good lawyers that are pro bono, so he's going to be okay. But that's not everybody.
He would just be in prison.
Yeah.
Or he would get a felony charge, right? And he just has to live his life with a felony charge.
No, there's a 10-year sentence they're threatening him with. Based on this, yes.
And so, there's 2 versions of this. Either he grabbed a piece that was partially torn and pulled it a little bit more, or he touched something that was fully separated. There's no version where this wasn't already separated. We know that, right?
No,
but even if that is he didn't go down and cut a chunk out and pull it up. But if that is true and they can prove it, okay, then actually that does make sense. I mean, it's still excessive, but you have to be able to prove that. And the way they're going about this, I don't know. This doesn't even deserve this much of our time. It's stupid. I hate this.
I agree. I hate it. All right. Speaking of things we hate, former CIA Director John Brennan sued the Trump administration to force Justice Department officials to preserve records tied to 2 investigations into him. So essentially what his legal team is saying is that They believe that the DOJ is investigating him and that they're going to bring something to the court, and that they want all of this stuff that they're doing, all the the text messages and the emails, all that to be preserved, which theoretically you think would be preserved anyways, just based on the Records Act. But they're suing to make sure that this happens.
He's asking that the things that they are investigating are not destroyed in the process of their investigation. Is that what I'm hearing?
The communications, the internal communications within the
things
government.
he did on his computer as that job, like while he was in that position.
Or things that the DOJ is saying as they're launching this investigation, like the behind the scenes of the investigation.
Oh, so he wants to make sure that their conversations while they're investigating him are
yes, recorded. They're not shredding shit. Like, but you have to imagine with this administration, they're not going to give a fuck whether or not this ruling is against them. They're going to shred stuff they don't want out there, anyways, right?
Oh,
like, there's no
yeah.
And how are you going to prove that? Like, that fucking. Unless you have an email on one side that shows that there was an email that they deleted, like, you're not going to be able to, I don't know. I think it's a good idea if you're Brennan to do this, but like,
the damage is already probably done, and it's going to be pretty hard to actually prevent them from doing what you're asking. I think it's more of a signaling thing, though, right?
Yeah, that's probably
and
part
it probably gives them something to sue over later on, right? Like, if he finds that there was any proof of this happening, they'd be like, hey, you violated this thing. And that could probably get their whole case thrown out.
Yeah, if you find an email reply where the initial email is not in the record, it's obvious that something got deleted, right? Like, you can tell. And so, yeah, that would be some grounds to say,
okay,
throw
so
this thing
do you
out.
think he's doing this? I mean, I think this is just good lawyers saying we're going to put this stipulation.
I think this is good lawyering. 100%.
So it'll catch anything like that may or may not actually be the reason something really would have ever gone thrown out. Okay, interesting. This is former CIA Director John Brennan. Probably not somebody I want to like. Yeah, okay. French far right. Okay, I could do this.
Oh.
Wait, hold on. I got a button for when I do that.
Well, let's see how we say that.
French far-right leader Marine Le Pen. Just to be honest, there's a lot of weird consonants there. French far-right leader Marine Le Pen said, that almost sounds like it's like a palindromic sentence. I bet if I say that backwards, it sounds the same. Marine Le Pen, the lady that's been Okay, Alan, shut up. The lady who's been leading the right-wing party in the last several elections against Macron in France. She... Let's see. She lost a lawsuit that confirmed that what she did was wrong and financially, like, she used campaign funds inappropriately. But in the decision, the judge is like, but we'll make you wear an ankle monitor, which is only going to make you a more appealing candidate to the people on the right. And we'll consider what you've gone through in the meantime. Time served. You're free to, run for, you can run for president now. Part of her punishment before was a ban on running for president, and they got rid of that ban.
Yes. Yeah, so quote from the article, Le Pen, who has run for president in France thrice, I like that they use thrice, that's nice.
I did say that.
Was banned from holding public office for 5 years in March last year after a court found her guilty of embezzling 1.4 million euros in European Parliament money to hire two high-ranking members of her party, then known as the National Front. So essentially what she had done is...
Are they not known as the National Front anymore?
No, there's something else now. I can't remember. I don't know what it is. But so she essentially paid two people to be like consultants from within her party with campaign funds, which is illegal under their campaign finance laws. So
National Rally.
Initially, initially she had said she wouldn't run because they were going to make her wear that ankle bracelet, which you talked about, and it would be difficult.
And they've
for
also
her.
said that Bardello guy is her protege is supposed to be the new person for that party.
Yeah, he's the head of the new party,
and he's been preparing to run. This was kind of a surprise.
But he's fully endorsed her doing this,
right? And they've done a little rally together yesterday and today, I think.
Yeah, and so she's appealed the ankle bracelet thing, and so while
that
make her is working,
candidate. She should lean into it.
While that's working its way through the courts, she doesn't have to wear it. So she can still be free
Right.
and
Okay.
do all of the rallies that she wants to do until there is a ruling on that, which who knows how long that will take. And she has a lot of momentum. I mean, she's tried, as I said, she's tried 3 times to do this and hasn't been successful. But
she's been
you're
better
seeing
each
in
time.
Europe,
There's
better
been
each
an
time,
increase.
and you're seeing in Europe, there's definitely a lean to that side of the aisle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. 2 explosive devices detonated near a Damascus hotel, wounding 18 people as French President Macron met with Syrian President al-Shara nearby. Macron was unharmed.
Remember, I was talking about this. I said that. I was like, I don't know why he was in Syria while NATO was in Ankara.
So he went to Syria in advance of going to Ankara at the NATO summit to meet with al-Shara, I believe the first European dignitary to do so. They signed a bunch of things. Syria and France obviously have a long history. And Macron is somebody who has sort of lobbied for al-Shara and trying to get like the sanctions that were imposed by various other countries removed as al-Shara has taken power. So, I mean, al-Shara is trying to sort of hold this country together, which is a bit of a powder keg. We've talked about various stories of this before. And so nobody killed. There were some injuries, mostly, I think, police that were, and it was by the Four Seasons Hotel where Macron was staying, but he wasn't there. He was at like the palace or whatever with al-Shara when this happened. Okay. So Macron said, no, look, we're good. We signed all these things. Al-Shara said the same thing. And so, but I just wanted to highlight that it happened.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think it's more interesting that he was in Syria with al-Shara because that is that.
I think it makes sense if you're Macron. I think it makes sense.
Oh yeah, and well, I mean,
he cares about that.
Yeah, and I'm also not one of these people that can't imagine that somebody's going to leave Syria. Someone is going to lead Syria. It's good that it's not al-Bashar and any of his people. Right. I don't know who you're going to like. I want bring me into your fantasy world. Give it to me. Come on. Give me the person that it would be in your fantasy world that isn't somebody, because Syria for the last 30 years is Syria for the last 30 years. Okay. So given that reality, who is going to lead a popular election and be strong enough to overthrow Bashir? And like, it's going to be someone that was ISIS or Al-Qaeda affiliated because they were a young person who was there during this time period. Like, I don't think that's a good thing. I'm not like, of course, and I hope the next one's just like him. But like, I'm not shocked that is the leader. And if there's one thing we learned from Graham Plattner, Alan, it's that people have a past.
What's that?
And you can move past it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like we've heard anything about this guy sexually assaulting anybody, Alan, okay? It's not a monster. He just killed Christians and, American troops that shook hands with out of the CIA. It's a really weird world, man. All right. Number 10. Hamas said it dissolved its government in Gaza and would transfer. This feels like bigger news. This did not make any headlines at all. I mean, it's in our headlines. But
you sent this to me on Instagram. Yeah. I remember when you sent it.
Hamas said it dissolved its government in Gaza. Hamas, the bad guys in Gaza, Alan. Hamas says that the October 7th people says it's dissolved its government in Gaza and would transfer authority to a UN-backed technical committee created under the U.S. brokered ceasefire. So this sounds like the ceasefire working. The statement did not address disarmament. There's a line there. I didn't see that part. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we have a quote from the Israeli foreign minister, Gideon Starr. He dismissed the move, saying it was designed to avoid disarmament as long as Hamas retains its weapons. Any civilian government will, of course, operate as Hamas dictates. We talked about this when the whole ceasefire thing happened and the Board of Peace was created, in that they were essentially... nothing was agreed on, right? There was no transition of power. There was no creating the state. There was no how do we disarm and when. There was none of that was really
just
in there.
Hurry
it
up
was
and
just
agree to something. I'm trying to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah.
Yes, they kicked the can
coming up
down
on the
road.
2-year anniversary. We got to get this signed by the 7th.
Right, and so Hamas has said, like, we're not going to disarm until we see some sort of plan to transition here, and the Board of Peace or whatever is in place hasn't agreed to that.
The FIFA World Board of Peace.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's something that Hamas is saying, like, look, the people we're leaving in place are just sort of the bureaucrats that do the everyday running of government in this place, and
But
they
we're
will
also
now
holding
be
on to all our guns.
yes, and they will now be reporting to whoever you say is in charge here. We're withdrawing.
Honestly, I feel like this makes the UN look worse. Like it's like so you're saying
I think
the
it does too.
the UN runs an armed Hamas is what I'm hearing. Is that
something like that?
Are those
Yes.
not all the same words?
I think that's close enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, this one's fun, and we didn't talk about it yet. I know this is a little bit old, but it's fun. A Russian man and woman scaled the Empire State Building spire.
I didn't know they were Russian. Ew.
Yeah, unfurled a peace banner and staged a marriage proposal before being arrested. The pair, a man and woman in dark outfits and masks, displayed a flag that read, "When the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace." And then he got down on one knee, and then they made out, and it was a
They
whole
didn't
thing.
get down on one knee. I mean, he was still.
He did.
Well, I guess he was. He was on that little catwalk, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of cute. It's fun.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. It was funny to watch people flip out about this. I would say this. I understand New Yorkers being a little uncomfortable with people on buildings in Midtown. And like, people doing things unexpectedly on upper floors of buildings, whether they move really fast or not. I would say maybe don't wear all black. Like you could wear like a color. Because like you're going to do what you're doing anyways. It's not like, oh, he was wearing all black. We didn't see him. He got past security.
Maybe khaki.
Wearing all black.
Do a khaki or something.
Yeah. That's a little close. I was thinking that too. That's a little too close to camo. But like, it's not like they didn't get to where they were because they were all. It was the middle of the day. They were in all black in the middle of the day. That was a choice, and I think that makes you're going to get people a little jumpy when you're wearing all black on the top, and you unroll a black banner that says something. It's like, does that say? Is that the ISIS flag? What's going on here?
And the New York authorities have thrown the book at them. Like they got charged with
Oh, yeah.
everything you could possibly charge them with.
I get a good lawyer.
Yeah, they'll be okay.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're right. Like, actually, I would be interested to see what kind of consequences they face for this because, while I agree with you, it's a little lighthearted, fancy free.
Exactly. Sir.
I mean, the reason you have consequences for breaking the law is to prevent people from doing it. And
Sure.
then we go back to it. Like, how many people are climbing to the top of the Empire State Building? You got security in your fucking building. Can't you make sure people don't fucking do this? Like, this isn't happening that often. And when it does, it's big news,
It's very clearly like a social media stunt. Like they did this for some clout on some level, right? I'm sure that's what they probably it's on their Instagram or whatever it is.
They're getting married now, Alan.
Yeah. I don't know. It's whatever. All right, number 12.
I swear I just did one. The Dow and SP 500. The Dow's over 50,000, Alan. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq rose 8.9%, 9.6%, and 12.8% respectively. Thank God that word's in there. That was in the first half of 2026. We're halfway through the year, thank God. The Dow had its biggest first half gain since 2021. Oh, that's good.
Now, obviously today, with the announcement of the ceasefire being over, the Dow is down over 500 points. Oil is through the roof
it's
again.
Still over 50,000.
We'll see.
52,000, Alan.
But 52,000. Why are we even talking about this?
I don't know
Honestly,
what you're talking about. Yeah.
All right, the U.S. economy added 57,000.
It's down a full percent. That seems like a big number in one day.
That is a big number in one day. Yeah. The U.S. economy added 57,000 jobs in June, below expectations of 115,000, and below May's downwardly revised gain of 129,000.
Oh, they did downwardly revise May. How much did they? Okay, I'll shut up and you tell me again. So remember in May we were like, these numbers are really good. It's kind of weird. And I was like, yeah, but they're going to revise them down. How much did they revise it down?
Yeah. So prior months also saw significant downward revisions. The May total, which had been much stronger than economists had anticipated, was cut by 43,000. While
that's still
April's
good, though.
figure
That was still good, though.
came down 31,000 to 148,000 as the report showed labor market growth significantly slower than previously thought. So, all down revisions, and 57,000
These are the people where
is
they
half.
fired the person in charge of maintaining the stats and put in somebody that the president was more
That's
comfortable
typically
with.
how it's explained, that these numbers have to be revised, but
But this is
unclear
the
if that's what
department
happened
where they
here.
fired that lady famously, right? He's like,
Oh,
hey,
yes.
she
Yeah,
put
yeah,
out
yeah,
numbers
yeah.
I don't like. Yeah.
Yes, this BLS.
And the person
yes,
that has
that's
the
what
job
happened,
learned the lesson.
Yes, that is.
And
what
at that time, we said it's cool they're not putting out reports because we'll get the real numbers from ADP. And now they're not using the ADP numbers; they're using those numbers, right?
That's
if you look at the ADP numbers, they look more like what these have been revised down to.
Yes,
Okay.
all of that's true.
All right, those are words. All right. Microsoft said it's cutting 4,800 jobs immediately, including 1,600 jobs at Xbox. Who owns an Xbox anymore? It's all PS.
Oh.
PlayStation did a good job, you know.
A lot of people still own Xbox. It's a very popular platform.
Second most, probably, right?
I think it. You know what? It might be. It might be more than PlayStation.
Yeah. Really?
I don't know. Yeah, it might be.
So
Anyways.
what is it? Was this AI related? What's the reason they're doing all the firings?
Yep.
Is this like Ford,
It's
where they're like, we don't need these people. AI can do it. And then immediately they're like, okay, those people knew how to run the machines. Oops. Like,
Sony generally sells more consoles and maintains a larger global market. So Sony is up, but PlayStation's pretty close behind. Or I'm sorry, Sony's up, but Xbox is close behind.
We're talking about a new thing now.
Yeah. So yeah, this is mostly AI driven. And you know, I think that Microsoft is a bit of a legacy company trying to find its way in the current space. You know, they're not
still
making
zooning
big
their way in the
splashes.
dark.
Right. They're not making big splashes in the AI level. Like, I don't know. I don't use Copilot. Do you? Like, I don't.
No, it's offensive. Like,
You use Gemini,
like
right?
My
Or-
work does not want Copilot to be used. And we have our main platform uses Bing, or it's like set up to work best. It's formatted for Bing. So because of that, every once in a while, Copilot just like intrudes into it. It's like, would you like me to summarize this document? It's like, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and try? Oh, that's right. You can't, because there's a bunch of fields on here that you can't integrate with. And
You'll
you're just
understand.
being
Yeah.
nosy and insisting because we're
Yeah.
using another company's.
Plus, there's so many alternatives to things like, you know, there's staples like Word and Excel. Google has all that stuff,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, we use Google Docs, right? Because they made Word
This is what we're
not
using
easily
currently.
accessible, yeah.
Yeah. I had
Sorry,
to get
you could have. You have all the money in the world, Microsoft, and you couldn't just make something that I would be happy to use on my phone. I had to turn to Google for it, and you did that time and time again, and here you are.
I had to buy an Excel subscription, Microsoft 365 subscription for school. And then
at
I
least
found
you got
out
to get
that
the
there was
student
a
one, right?
No, I didn't, but I found that I could have. But I bought the regular one. It was like $15 a month, whatever. Because I had to have Excel to do this class I was doing.
Right, and it's all subscription. You used to be able to buy it, and then you'd buy a new one.
Yeah.
But now it's all subscription.
Dude, there's our last story today makes me sad, and we'll talk about it when we get there. But
we're almost there.
All right, 15. 7 OPEC plus nations agreed to raise their combined oil production by 188,000 barrels per day starting in August, their fifth straight monthly increase. Obviously, they're seeing the price of oil doing what it's doing, and they're like, yeah, we could make more money. So why wouldn't they? Like, it's not like there's a glut of oil on the market when it's all stuck behind the Strait of Hormuz. So, of course, that's what they're doing. Unsurprising headline of the week.
I've had 7 Nation Army in my head when I've heard this. So 7 OPEC Army. Yeah, didn't work. That's the last headline you were talking about.
Yes.
Sony said that, who apparently has better console sales than Microsoft. Sony said it will stop producing physical discs for new PlayStation games on January this year. January next year.
No.
Well, January 2 years from now. I can do that.
2 years.
Yeah, January 2028. So beginning of 2028, they will only use digital releases.
Right.
I mean, 2 years into the future might be where we fully accept that, right? I mean, it's already now. Like, you got to have a hard copy of a movie if you want to be able to watch it when the power goes out, right? Well, power goes out, you need a generator, but you know what I mean, like streaming and stuff like that.
Sure. I remember we lost internet last year, and I was like, oh, I have DVDs. We can do that. I don't know. It just makes me sad. Like, a physical thing. Like, I'm starting to try and get into records now, which is fun because, like, and like, I don't have any. I got rid of all my CDs, which I regret doing. But like having a physical copy of something that you can like share. That's also like with Audible. Like when you used to buy a book and then you could be like, tell your friend like, hey, you should read this, and you hand them.
You could
the
let
book.
someone
You
borrow
can't-
it.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
I should be able to lend you my Audible, a book that's in my Audible.
You should be able to.
And even if they want to make it scarce, they can artificially take it out of my library while it's in yours temporarily.
Yeah.
And then you give it back to my library.
Or give you a limited number of shares, like give you 5 or a month or whatever
but
it is.
It should come with you. I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So I miss that. And I miss, like, there is something about having a record or a video game disc or whatever, like the physical thing that you hold in your hand that feels good.
I know.
don't know.
And
I think
and Gen Z's really embraced that. I mean, like tapes and CDs. CDs have had a huge resurgence. I mean, they love everything 90s and 2000s ish. But yeah, yeah.
I do lament this headline. I understand it. I get it. Like, I don't think I bought a physical copy of a video game in years.
Well, even if you did, you'd upload it into your console and then you'd take it out, or I guess you'd have to put it in as like a key, basically, right? But the very first thing you did was you'd have to load the game into the console.
Yeah, and then it's got to go to the internet and update it, right? It's got to.
When's the last time you just put a disc in and the game played? I mean, that's been been a decade and a half. Like that's been maybe 2 decades.
That's a long time.
Not 2 decades. It's 2006, but yeah.
No, but at least one.
At least 10 years.
Yeah, I think the last, maybe it was like Mega Man. I think it was the last thing I bought for a Switch. That was Mega Man.
Switch.
I think that was.
I thought you were talking about the original version of it.
All right, we are into other news. First headline here: Tucker and Marjorie Taylor Greene say they're considering creating a new party. Now that's a little bit misleading. It's not like they're both like cooperating in doing this.
Oh, that is how that sounded.
Yeah. Tucker has said separately, and MTG has said separately, that they think there should be a third party. Tucker has said that he would like to see it, but he absolutely does not want to be a political candidate. MTG has said that she also would like to see something that the Republican Party is essentially dead in her mind, and there needs to be a new entity, a new thing. When asked about Tucker Carlson, she was like, well, I think he'd be great. Like, he would be a great candidate, but he said he doesn't want to be a candidate. So I think he likes being on the sidelines and poking at everybody else. As opposed to
it's
doing
easier,
something.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, they can attack your character, but who cares? We attack the character of people we like, right? Like we attack policies of people we hate. If someone we like, we don't attack their policies. We attack their character. So,
that's interesting.
So he's, so you can go ahead and do that. But once he's running for candidate, now people are going to go after, all of that. Both sides are going to take it. As
a independent and former libertarian who voted third party tickets for many years,
this is not the third party I want. I encourage them to do it, and then they can realize how impossible it's become. I hate to be a fatalist about this. I mean, the closest we got, the best chance we had, the best turnout we had for a third party other than Ross Perot was in 2016. And if anything, a lot of those votes, I don't think those votes were going to go to Trump. I think a lot of those people were doing that because they would not vote for Trump. I still resent Hillary Clinton being that candidate, but I don't know. I feel like this is a reflection. Both of those people, Marjorie Taylor and Tucker, talk about the uniparty all the time and how there needs to be some choice outside of that. But isn't the uniparty just a reflection of voters wanting something like someone that governs from the center? They might have more extreme ideas, but they want to govern from the center and not necessarily break all these norms. And we're just stuck with boring versions of that, like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, or even Mitch McConnell's, which is power to control, power just to protect power, and we're fine with someone who's like, hey, I'm gonna be a centrist candidate, and then people end up whittling down. I think people start from the center, and then they get whittled down from one side or the other, and it pushes them either right or left. And because you take down certain whittled down, I mean you have a full composite of beliefs, and then they say, well, what about this, or what about your thoughts on this, and how do you respond to these situations? And slowly you sort of shift slightly off center, but that's all done by lobbyist groups and special interest groups. I guess what I'm describing is what's called Tom Woods law, that you vote, and then at the end of the day, you get John McCain every time, right?
Yeah, so I think that there is a sentiment in a large part of the population that my vote doesn't really matter, and I don't get what I want regardless of what I vote for.
It breeds nihilism, yeah.
And I also think that the way that our politics, the gerrymandering and the money in politics has only sort of polarized the electorate to, the ravenous people on both sides, the left and the right, are the ones that show up, and then that's how you get these extreme candidates.
Yeah.
So like none of this is good. I don't think that creating a third party by Tucker Carlson and MTG is going to fix any of that. There's a lot we probably need to do, and I think part of that starts with Citizens United and the most recent Supreme Court ruling about money in politics. Like all of that is just making the gerrymandering, all of it's making all of it worse.
Yeah.
And none of that's going to get better until we
and
can
all
fix
of those
those
things like the gerrymandering and the money in politics create more extreme politicians, so that you have, and then you have, niche primaries where you're left with the most extreme winner, and then that person goes against the most extreme opposite side, and then it's just like, well, which one of these people can you call more trans, or right? Because you just put that into the Red Hat Entertainment Complex, and it's money in the bank for them. It's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, we're fucked.
Actually, on that same subject, do you want to do this one next? The anti-woke law. I mean, that kind of balances.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So a panel of judges struck down Florida's anti-woke law, which was championed by Ron DeSantis, wherein they were preventing like universities and schools from teaching sort of anything sort of related to real history of this country. And
I think this was kind of old, right? Like this was several years ago. This might have even been before Trump was elected, right? It was while DeSantis was like at his peak, and we saw like the list of things, and we're like, gosh, you seem to really don't like Black history.
Yeah. Yes, we did. So here I have some quotes from the article. The judges affirmed a 2022 decision that labeled Florida's rules as positively dystopian, doubling down by arguing the law is a breathtaking assertion of power to ban unpopular ideas from public discourse in the very classroom space where students are supposed to puzzle through ideas that are good and bad, easy and hard, ideally getting ever closer to the truth. So it was a 3-judge panel. It was a 2-1 decision. One of these judges was a Trump appointee. I think the other one was maybe a Biden appointee, but interesting that one was a Trump appointee. And they were like, absolutely the fuck not. Like this violates the First Amendment, and this should not be a thing. Do you have anything else to add to that?
I've been muted. So that's something to be optimistic about, right?
Hold on, I'm going to mute
my.
my.
I can't see Alan at all.
Go
Are
ahead.
you there? Why don't we
I'm
move
here.
on to the
I am
next
here.
headline?
You froze for a little bit.
Headline.
Let's do that. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Well, we missed one here. So this was an article you added to Another News, and the headline is "Have People Stop Trusting Science?" And so this article goes back and forth, and so essentially, like, if you look at the globe, they did this thing in like 72,000 people in, I think, maybe 60 countries where they had them do this polling. And generally speaking, no, this has not happened. Like, people do still trust science on a pretty high level.
So post-COVID, we've had this feeling that like nobody trusts science anymore, right? Is that kind of what they're saying?
Right. Yes.
And the reality is, they're like, at the end of the day, people tend to have faith in science at the same level. But what I took away from this is no, when it comes down to niche cases, right? Like it's case by case. They don't necessarily. It's not a blanket trust.
It is definitely not a blanket trust. And if you look at various like people, so part of this, I actually have a quote here. So trust has dropped in certain groups, notably among Republican-leaning people in the United States. Research in the UK shows that the proportion of people who have a lot of trust in science tends to be lower among politically right-leaning groups than those on the left. Trust in science is politicized and becoming more so. But it's very like, it's like if you look at people as a whole, it's not really a thing. Like, people do still trust scientists. But essentially, if your political views disagree with what science is telling you, for instance, that global warming is a thing, that you tend to be
You'll
like,
either
okay,
find
well,
science that
I
proves
guess
your
this is confirmation bias or whatever bias you want to call it. Right. Or say scientists are full of shit. I'm trying to pull this up right here. There's an interesting thing about
but like that type of
trust in
person is
certain
still willing to
professions.
trust science to prove their wrong version of it. So like, yeah, I trust science. Oh, yours
Yes.
wrong. Here,
Yeah.
look, I found science that says my science is science.
Okay, there's a really interesting chart in this article called Trust in Professions. It's a survey of 23,000 people, and they were asked whether certain job categories were trustworthy. And if you look at like doctors and scientists, it's like 72%. If it goes down to teachers, it's still up there above 50. Armed forces still up there above 40. You get to police, and it's like 42%. Oh no, 38%.
used to be
You get to
higher.
lawyers,
I
it's
bet that
below
used to be
30%. Business leaders below 30%. Yeah. Here's the fun numbers. So the last four categories, the clergy is like 27%. Advertising executives is under 20. It's like 19. Social media influencers is like 15, and politicians is equal to social media influencers.
I was just about
to
ask.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
You know what? That makes sense.
I guess that kind of checks out. I'm actually surprised that 30. Yeah, it totally does. I'm a little surprised that 38% of people think that the police are trustworthy, but whatever. Maybe they live in nice places.
Yeah, but that number used to be a lot higher.
All right. Let's see. It used to be like twice that. Like, yeah. People trusted the.
I'm sure it's going
the
to
law
sound
enforcement
fine
for
in
sure.
the finished product, but we
I
started.
think there's
having
been a lot of
huge
reasons
delay.
for that to change. That number to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been lots of lags here. So should we just move on to media diet?
Just do whatever you want. I'm just waiting for everything to catch up.
Okay. Yeah, catch up. All right. So I started watching Silo season 3, which just came out on Apple TV. I did like the first two seasons. I've talked about it before on the show. They're not releasing this you can't binge this. They're doing like one episode a week on Fridays. The first episode just dropped and I watched it. I like it, and I feel like they're trying to. A lot of these sci-fi narratives or books or shows or whatever, they just put you in a place and they never explain how they got there. You're just dropped into this scenario and you got to deal with it. I feel like what they're trying to do in season 3 is kind of explain how we got here. And this feels like they're trying to write the reason after they already have the first two seasons. Like, I don't think this was written prior to the first two seasons. You know what I mean?
Well, I think most
so they're
shows
trying to
that
figure
you
out how we
enjoy
got here.
actually don't show you until I didn't mean to say show you. I think most shows that you enjoy end up writing things like season by season, episode by episode. I think Breaking Bad was even famous for that. He's like, I actually did not have that planned the whole way out.
Right. Yeah, we just figured this out. We didn't storyboard that, right?
They're just good
so,
at
I don't know.
it.
It's only one episode in, and they're doing like... they're doing like a time hopping thing where they're going back in time and then back to present time.
Is it too much?
And it's okay so far. It feels a little bit clumsy, but I'm gonna give them some space. I really liked the first two seasons, so I kind of want to see where they take the story. I think it'll be fun.
All right, cool.
I also listened. I almost finished Smiley's People, which is the John le Carre
And I
book
really
that you
hate that I have such a
recommended.
bad
The
connection
third
here.
series.
I want to talk about this. I know I'm going to want to interrupt and have like a normal type of flowing conversation. I can't fucking do it. It's driving me crazy. You haven't finished it yet?
Yeah, I know. I haven't finished it yet. It's riveting. Like, it's a very fun storyline. It's so weird because Smiley as a character is like, the way he depicts him is so, like, he's not the guy. He's no James Bond, right? Like, he's not the suave, like, fucking.
No.
Yeah, he describes
calls
him
him
as
a
like a fat
mole.
guy whole wife cheated on him the whole time, and like it's a whole
I'm gonna bring you in on a secret for the very first George Smiley
but
book.
he's still
It literally starts off with him being like, nobody understood why him and his wife got married, and then immediately she divorced him. Opening chapter, very first time they ever talk about him, they're immediately like, yeah, this guy looks like a mole. They understand that nobody gets why his hot wife likes him, and then like multiple times in that first book, he meets people that are like, the only person I knew with that name had a really hot wife that left him for like a race car driver. Can't be you. Like, it's so like you're right.
Wow.
Like they make it like, but
yeah, I mean,
but then like, how does he solve the
he's
crime?
like
He
a
always
hero.
goes,
He's
like, I gotta
intelligent.
sit down and I gotta think about it. I'm gonna put the facts in order. He talks about like how he like, start from the beginning and draw and do it in order. Like and I love that. Like it's almost Sherlockian, not without it being like deductive reasoning, but still.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love it. I enjoyed it. I'll get the next one that you recommended. It's fun. Okay. I like it a lot. Recommend.
And do you feel like you missed the book in the middle? Because I promise.
How about you? What's your immediate?
I'll tell you about it. I'll wait for that answer that I know is coming up.
I didn't read or listen, and I don't think I've missed anything. No.
Fantastic. Good. Don't react to what I just said. Hopefully you didn't. But definitely don't react to this. I'm going to move on. This is a pre-taped call-in show. Okay, so I've watched a couple of movies that actually I think is worth talking about. I watched one that I would recommend, one I don't recommend. I watched How to Make a Killing. Lately, like sometimes when Natasha gives me a recommendation for a movie, I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch this. And then like I look at the trailer, I'm like, I don't want to admit this, but I think she found a good movie. And this is one of those. So it's like a 6. Oh, I'm not doing this like the kids do it, but it's like a 6 or a 7 on Rotten Tomatoes. But it's which I think is solid. That's like what you're talking about, like a 3.5 or 4. Like I'd watch that. So it's I would describe this kind of like American Psycho, but with like a motive. It's in the trailer that there is a man who is on the he's in like an irrevocable trust, and there's billions of dollars on the line once everybody above him in the family tree dies. Like he is eventually the inheritor of a bunch of money, and then it starts off with him in prison. So no spoilers. It's the opening scene. He's in prison. And you get him talking to a priest, explaining how he got there, and why the people in his family that were ahead of him for the money all managed to die. Did you watch the movie The Substance that I recommended that I hated? I can't hear your answer. So I'm assuming you said yes. The woman in it is that plays the younger girl. Jesus Christ, Matt Gaetz over here. The younger person in that is she is like the femme fatale in this, and oh my god, I got a spot for a femme fatale, Alan. Let me show you the spot. Hold on. Now you can't see this. It's slow, so you don't figure out where the spot is. You gonna stop me or not? I'm waiting for you. I guess not. Okay, so it's right back here.
I
kimono up. Oh, you understood. Okay. But there is a little bit of a lag here. I don't know what you were. Nothing. It's not what you think. So, but
there's a lot of lag.
Yeah, there is. There's a, you know what there is? There's a lot of leg in this movie, Alan. Hubba hubba. Oh my goodness.
Okay,
you know what?
right.
You know what, Alan? It made me wistful.
It's nice to be wistful.
I didn't know if you heard it yet. And then the movie I would not recommend is Brothers. Brothers stars. I was so excited about Brothers. I was like, this is going to be a dumb comedy. It's on Netflix. It stars Dwayne The Rock Cena, John The Rock Cena. I know. It stars John Cena and Eric fucking Andre. And I like Eric Andre. And if you like Eric Andre, you're going to kind of like this movie. If you don't like Eric Andre, you are going to hate this movie because it is very Eric Andre. And there's times where it makes you laugh, but they ruined it by having like a message to it. They wanted to have it sort of like heartwarming, almost like an Adam Sandler type thing, and I think that's like, it was never going to be a great movie, but it just stopped being entertaining once they're like, we don't have to talk about this movie. Don't see Brothers. If you do watch Brothers, don't expect to have more than like a couple of chuckles. It's not horrible, but I would never recommend it to anyone. I had a game for you, but our connection's so bad. Our connection is so bad. I wanted to see if I back out of this and I come back in, I wonder if my screen will be better. I'm going to do it. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, okay, try it.
Changes may not be saved. I don't like that.
I will stay.
I can't do that. No, I can't risk it. It says things won't be saved. So, oh, you're recording. We'll stop once you leave. I'm going to stay in the room. Okay. Whew. So I think we're still good. I'm still here. The countdown's still going. God, there used to be a way for me to make my picture go away. And then don't respond to this. We'll get through this. I had a game that I wanted to play. The game's just not going to work if we have this fucking lag with our conversation. So, look, hey, in case this doesn't work, this has been a great show. I'll talk to you next week. Maga Delinda Est. Drive safe. Love you, buddy. Okay, I'm going to stop this, Alan. And once this uploads, I'm just going to back out.